Welcome. Fall and Rise podcast. Today we're joined with Sanna. Sanna, please introduce yourself.
My name's Sanna. I'm an ultra runner. I recently broke my own record on the Pembrokeshire Coast Path, which is 186 miles. I had the record in 2021 in 51 and a half hours. And on the 1st of August, I started and finished in 48 hours and 26 minutes. So I think that's probably what I'm known for, is running the Pembrokeshire Coast Path.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. What got you to the point where you were not only able, but wanting to do these kind of things?
I don't really know what like a turning point of it was. I just knew I loved being outside. And when you were out like racing for like a day, 100 milers or like generally on the trailer over 24 hours, all you had to think about was that. Nothing else mattered in life. And I loved how freeing that felt. And obviously the views you get to see and the people you get to meet, that then carries on that memory. So then you do one and you recover for a month or so, and then you itch to do another one, and it just becomes a really bad habit in a way. But it's just that escapism, the people you meet, the journey, the training for it, but just being outside and only having to worry about your feet, your eating, and not falling over.
So you've completed many different ultra marathons. Can you explain mentally why you keep going back to do these really long races?
I think it just helps my mind so much mentally, and it just gives me purpose. I don't know how long I'll be able to do this for, so I want to do it now while I can. Why wait? What's there to wait for? We always say when we're older, you see people go, I wish I'd done that when I was younger. Well, I'm doing it now. I'm fit, I'm strong. I've got my fitness, so I don't want to waste it. No time like the present. I try to have time off, and then I just get drawn in. I mean, I've kept empty after my race, and I'm already like, yeah, I need to do something. And it's not even been 3 weeks yet. So I just love it. I just enjoy it.
Could you explain to people some of the distances that you've covered and sort of give context for those who perhaps don't quite understand the gravity of what you do?
If we just take an annual statistic, for like the last 5 years, I've ran over 3,650 miles a year. So I'm averaging over 10 miles a day. If we just take an average, and that's breaking it down. I've done Dragon's Back in 2023. So that's the 6 days across the Welsh mountains, 6 ultras in 6 days, but you get to stop and sleep, so it's a bit cheating, I think. I've ran the Pembrokeshire Coast Path twice, north and south to north. Last year I did 100 milers in 6 months, but I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. The emotional strain that had to race that close together was quite tough for me. I was quite tired by the September, but it felt great. Well, it's such a boost, isn't it, to do something like that. Yeah, I don't even know how many 100s. I should probably have these figures ready for you, shouldn't I? But I've probably ran about 8 100 milers now. I did my first one in 2017. It's not been 10 years yet. And that's with Dragon's Back and the FKT. And I've done a 200 miler as well. I did the Wild Horse North Wales. That race doesn't run anymore. I did that as well. I just think the longer you're out there, the less you have to do with real life.
You mentioned you've completed the Dragon's Back race. That's renowned as one of the hardest races in the world. Can you explain mentally why that race?
A friend of mine had spoken about it. It was back when it was like proper map and compass. It was only 5 days. It was more rugged than what it was now. He just made it sound so amazing. But I thought, I'll never be able to do that. I'm not very good at map reading. Crib Goch, I was like, oh, I don't think I could do that. That was back in 2015. And it all had been a bit of this itch, and I could see I was getting stronger. I was working on my nav. I'd done a few mountain races, and I was like, yeah, this is a different kind of fun. Hard, but different kind of fun. And I got picked to have a charity place with the Wales Air Ambulance. This is my why. This is why you're gonna do it. So I trained really hard for 12 months to make sure I was mountain fit. I mean, Dragon Back is a lot of commitment. I didn't have much life outside of running, but I didn't mind. My partner and my dad's really understanding. They looked after the dogs and stuff, but it is a commitment. And my biggest worry was day one, Crib Goch. And once I'd done that, I relaxed and enjoyed it. And I think I must have looked very scared, because even one of the mountain crews like, do you want a hand over? I'm like, no, I'm fine. When, you're meant to have like 3 points of contact. I'm sure I had 8. Once I'd got that day out of the way, I just kept getting stronger and stronger through the race. And I was really, really pleased to finish 5th female, because there was pretty stacked females in that race. That it was every year, but I never thought I would do that. If you would have spoke to 10 years ago, Sanna, I was like, nah, you wouldn't finish it. Never mind come in the top 10. The year I did it, 300 people started and only 87 people finished the full dragon back. So that was the year they introduced the hatchling. So that kind of speaks for how tough it was. And I was seeing people dropping out on day one who I thought they were the best people. They were people I'd looked up to, and a few more dropping out as the days go on. I'm like, how am I still here? But I got up every day. I got it done. I'm very organised. Lots of parts of my life, sometimes I call it quite boring, but for Dragon's Back, it really, that camp admin, not getting waylaid, making small talk, and all. I was structured, focused, and I do enjoy racing, but I am very focused. I do the things I have to do to make it happen. Your feet, your food, your water, knowing what works for you and knowing yourself and not getting caught up in anybody else's race. I stick to my own ways. Something that I've learned in the last 5 years is what's right for you. You stick to your guns, stick to what you know.
You're now at the stage where you've completed numerous 100-mile ultra marathons. You've completed things over multiple days. You've done some crazy stuff, and you're setting course records or beating your own course records and all these incredible things. What got you started on this journey, and what made you want to take things to where you are now?
I started on your park runs. I built up the distances like a lot of people did. Obviously, when I started in the early 2010, 2013 was my first marathon. It wasn't so big on social media, so you did build up slowly, and that's how I've done it. And I won my first 100 miler. Me and my friend did it together, and we won. We were first female. I was like, wow, I'm okay at this. We're beating some of the men, and then I went back the following year and I beat everyone. I came first overall. I realised that was my thing. I'd never really felt very good at anything. I did okay in school. I was never the popular kid. I was always a bit the nerdy one outside of the pets and stuff. I felt like I found my vibe, my people, where I was meant to be. I've never wanted to let go of that since. When I'm out there on those trails, I'm just happy. I'm just me. It's pure. There's no fake. I just do what I want and have fun, getting a bit lost and eating. And yeah, I just fell in love with the sport, with the trails, and I've been hooked ever since.
So you're part of the Harrier Pro team, if I'm correct. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about how that came across.
That again was I was like, you sure? You've contacted the right person. I don't have much self-esteem, so I didn't feel really worthy of it. Sat down and had a call with Kate, and then we met the other team members, and it's been amazing. I've met some really good people. I had some amazing photos taken with professional photographers, which I've never done. The film that was made on my first attempt, that's just priceless. I'll have that forever. Yeah, it makes me feel a bit emotional thinking about it. When you start running, you kind of hope that some of these things would happen. But I didn't think little me here down in Southwest Wales that would ever happen. The support, it's nice people ask me questions about stuff and I can give a bit back. That's really nice as well. They're a UK brand. They're not too big. There's no pressure, which was really important to me. I don't have to make 5 posts a week and post about it. There's lots of support, which means a lot as well.
How did they support you on your FKT attempts?
They sent me kit, so the poles, the backpack, or coat. If I needed someone to lean on, when I was thinking about doing the attempt again, I was meant to be doing another race before, so I was able to voice some of those things and decide that wasn't the right thing to do. If I wanted to do the FKT, it was probably best to go for it all. And I knew that. I just needed someone to tell me. Obviously capturing the moments on the films and the photos and then putting it out there in the community. They have a much wider reach. Having people cheering you on like that is going to boost you. Sometimes it can give you a bit of pressure because you feel like you've got a lot more people to let down. Luckily, it worked out well. And then when it did fail the first time, obviously that was tough, but the support and the well wishes that I received, it's not failing. I didn't feel like a failure, but I was just glad that I could go out there and shine and smash it. But they're a great team with Harrier. We get to test some of the kit, which is quite cool. They got new range coming out beginning of autumn. If you love running, you love the kit, don't you? So that's exciting.
Can you talk to us why Pembrokeshire Coast was the choice for your FKTs.
It's where I've grown up, the beach, Sandy Haven, which has got the tidal crossing. That's where we spent like our summer evenings. Me and my dad used to go like shrimping, walking the dogs. When my dad was younger, we used to run it a bit together. Unfortunately, he got ill and like he didn't continue that. When I moved back from Cardiff, all I wanted to do was be on that coast path. I missed it so much. I was going through a bit of like a mental downward spiral, I suppose. Being out on that coast, cried on it, laughed on it, fell over on it, ran in every storm to take some of the pain away. A bit dangerous at times. It gives you another escape or a different kind of pain, but it can also bring you joy. Like this morning I ran, it was the most beautiful sunrise, and what better way is it to start a day than that? Like running doesn't necessarily change a problem, but it can give you time and space to think about it and maybe deal with it a bit healthier, or be able to have better conversations with the people you need to. You still have to deal with the situation, but it gives you space, and it's better than some other ways you could do that.
That's what you do in day-to-day life when you go for your run and you get that headspace where everything's clear and better. During these long races you do, 100 miles, 200 miles, multiple day races, when it gets to the stage that perhaps maybe you're not quite enjoying it anymore. I don't know, maybe you love it the whole 100 miles all the way through. But what do you do to keep yourself mentally in check when running isn't that thing necessarily that's making you smile?
I've had to learn that through the year. It is hard when it sucks. It really, really is tough. But I do it in thirds, my races. So the first third is always going to be fun. You started, it's amazing. Everything feels great. Then there's that middle bit and everything could fall off. You're thinking about quitting. It could be the night time normally, that is. But then I remember in that last third, it's going to be great again. The finish line is coming. You could have beaten the time you set, or you're going to just do it. The victory that will pull you through that race. In that dark moment, I just remember that it's going to get better. I've chose to do this, and lots of people can't do it and would want to. So just be there and enjoy it. The pain will pass, just like bad moments in life. It doesn't last forever. It will pass. You just sometimes have to ride them out or just sit with them. I try not to get frustrated with them. I did a little bit on my FKT the other week. Thankfully, I was able to pull myself out of that. The ground was so frustrating. I was like, I'm just going to fail again. Obviously, I pulled myself up, ate some food, put a smile on, and then I was fine. In races, it's easier to pull through because you're always going to see people. People are cheering you on. You never really want to let anyone know that you're suffering. I just put that brave face on, push on. By the time I've put that on, I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm all right. Just being grumpy. You're enjoying this. It's a privilege.
You earlier mentioned that you're averaging 10 miles a day for the whole year. How do you stop yourself getting injured? Or if you have been injured, how do you come back from those injuries?
April, I had semi-injury. It is tough to maintain, but I built up slowly. I've taken years to get to the level that I'm at, so that's always important. I do go to the gym once, twice a week. I do a lot of mobility. Really focus on my sleeping as well. Quite often have like an afternoon nap on the weekend. I still work full time. Something that I found worked for me is splitting my runs in the week. So I run most mornings before work, just 4 or 5 miles, and I top it up in the evening for like an hour and a half. And I do most of my long runs on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday's always an easy day. It's been the consistency and the routine. And if I know I'm going to have a big run, I'll drop my mileage in the week. But if you feel any niggles, go see someone about it. Like when I thought I'd ruptured my Achilles on my FKT, I went and seen a physio, checked what it was. I didn't try and second guess it. It was worth that however much it costs, just so you know. Like there's no point buying new trainers. That costs more than going and seeing a physio. You're better off having someone analyse it and see what it is. Thankfully for me, it was just a very, very, very tight soleus muscle. I spoke to some people in the gym and I got some exercises. Thankfully, touch wood, it's been much better. Even after I'd done that whole coast path, that pain never came back. So I'm really, really pleased about that.
What's next for you? Do you try and go further, or do you go sideways? Or now are you going to go do your park runs? What's next?
Definitely not park runs, sorry. I cannot push myself that fast for 5k. I am actually doing Cardiff half marathon, but with work in October to support them. I've signed up for it's not called the Arc of Trition anymore, but the 100 mile in Cornwall in January. I did that in 2023, so I want to go back and revisit that. I'm toying with the idea of doing UTS because I've had a DNF on that as well. Sometimes if I've not done so well in a race, I like to go back and try and work on that and be better at it. I know what I don't like. Like, I don't like backyard ultras. Loops do not work for me. See, mentally, that breaks me down, not having a finish point. I've tried and yeah, they don't work. It's obviously not, in my mind, cannot do loops. The first weekend of September, I'm going to go support the GB Ultra 50 miler and sweep that for them. I like to try and give back as well. I helped them out with a race earlier in the year, and I'll support people in some of their races and FKTs that they want to do. But at the moment, Arc is the only race I have. The Arc isn't new to me, so it doesn't quite have the same feelings as maybe a big race. I'll figure it out. I was like this after Dragon's Back. Something will fall into place.
There's a lot of people out there who are looking up at you and thinking it's incomprehensible. How would you suggest someone step up from not running or running very little to potentially their first 50K, their first 50 mile, their first ultra marathon?
Make sure you really want it so that you can commit and be disciplined to it, because that will be really important, and give yourself enough time. Don't sign up for a 50 miler when you've only got 8 weeks to train and you've only ran half a marathon before then. Keep it real and be disciplined, but pick something that excites you, somewhere that, if it's a place you've always wanted to visit or just a route you want to do something that excites you. And then once you've booked it, be disciplined but kind to yourself as well. It is that 10% rule that we always hear, build up slowly. A lot of people go on recce routes, and that does help, but it's not always possible. Just try and do what the specific training is available for you. Keep it fun. If you can join local groups or run with friends, do your long runs with them. It makes it much more enjoyable. Your long runs aren't meant to be about beating yourself up. It's meant to be about fun and kind of replicating the race. You're going to probably stop, chat, eat some food at the food station, make your training run a bit like that. Eat while you're running as well, and use the kit that you've trained with to race. Don't use anything new on race day.
That's some incredible advice. You've mentioned you've done the GB Ultra series, the Dragon's Back. What's your favourite race that you've done?
Other than the Pembrokeshire Coast Path, I love that because that's my home and that's what I love. The views are incredible and the local support. But it would be the GB Ultras, the Brecon Beacons 100 miler. I did that in 2022 in horrific weather. It was my first mountain 100 miler. It's just, the Brecon Beacons are just beautiful, but the weather was horrific. 31 hours and so many minutes. And I decided to go back in 2024, and I always knew I could get 30 deep down, and I went and did that and got it in under 28 hours. That was amazing. The views up there was beautiful, and just to see how much I'd grown, how much stronger and better I'd become. I did all that for me. I wasn't trying to beat anyone other than myself. That feeling is always best. Bit like the Coast Path. The ones I've always enjoyed the most are the ones where I've been just chasing myself, just being me, trying to do the best. I mean, Dragon's Back obviously was iconic. Never thought I was going to do that. 6 days away from my dog and my home and my bed was quite tough. I did enjoy it, but I didn't make friends like some people did, because I was never with the top group and I was never with the back group. I was just in that front middle bit. I was on my own a lot, which also taught me that I'm stronger than what I think. I can do my nav. I don't need to cling on to people to get through races. Body up with people for a little bit, but if you feel like you want to move on, just go do your own thing. And that race taught me that.
Do you think that potentially the lessons you learn from doing these extreme endurance challenges potentially translates into work, whether that be professionally or any other way that you could think of?
Definitely. After I'd done Dragon's Back, took a temporary job position, I would have never have done that. I thought if I try, that could lead to a permanent position, and it did. And now I'm working in a location that's literally on the Coast Path, so I can go running straight from work. I only have a 10-minute commute. It allows me to run more, and that I would have never taken that risk without having the confidence after doing Dragon's Back. And I also learned that I don't need to settle for second best or quiet myself down. When I'm running, I am what I am, and people like it and I do well, so why can't I just be me in everyday life? I'm trying to embrace, that's tough for me because I'm quite shy, but I'm trying to embrace it. After that FKT, the support I had and seeing that people liked me and things, it's just been an amazing confidence boost. Made me less afraid to have conversations, not to shy away. So that's been nice.
You mentioned your Pembrokeshire FKT. Your goal was to do it under 50 hours. You completed that. How did it feel when you finished that race?
That it was amazing. I thought I was going to be death marching it in, so the fact that I could like run really fast, and I didn't think I would do that. At one point, I didn't think I was going to get under 50 hours. The fact that I got it under 49 was the best feeling in the world. I think I'm still on that high, to be honest with you. I just didn't expect that result. I knew I'd put the hard work in, but I'd done that last time, and obviously the wheels fell off after 36 hours. So nothing's given until it's gotten. You've got to work hard until that last 100 meters. It just felt amazing to put all that work in, have my friends and family around me, and we did it. We made my dream come true. It was just amazing. It's not quite like a race. It's a different, because you've had so many people helping you through. It's very close knit. It just felt like it was an amazing team achievement. I'd been like the boss getting us all through it, and we smashed it. So it was good.
That's amazing. Sorry, I keep getting up. My dog's being a mess.
That's why I locked mine downstairs.
Yeah. So your FKT, it was 186 miles.
The coast path is 186 if you take that high tide route at Sandy Haven. It was 180, and I've double checked this because it's actually 170 odd you're going to add on bits and things. So it's 180 miles of low tide routes.
How does it feel to be running for that long?
It felt like it went really quick. There was only like 4 hours on that second night where I was like, oh my God, this is taking forever. I was just getting to places and I'm like, oh, it's going to be over soon. I was coming around on Newport Head and I was like, I don't really want it to end. It just, like I said, different people with me, and then some of my friends like joining me again, and I was just looking forward to telling them about the stuff. Obviously I was hungry and tired, but I was having such a good time that it never felt like it was dragging. And that's when you know you've picked a route and a race that you like. And I was a bit like that with Dragon's Back as well. It never felt like a chore. It was just great to be able to get out there and do that every day. I think running for me, it doesn't ever really feel like much like a task. There's only ever a few runs a year that I have to drag myself, and that's normally after recovering, after running 100 miles or, that week after a race. Yeah, I think as well that was something that I've learned. Is sometimes you're going to be slower, like if you're doing like a race on the mountains, or if the terrain's bad, or when you're tired, but just embrace it. I mean, if you slow down a bit and use that time wisely, like to feed, you will feel better again. Or if you're feeling a bit sluggish in the night, you're going to just push through it, and when dawn breaks you'll definitely feel better.
Nutritionally, especially your 180-mile race and like the Dragon Back, nutritionally, what are you using and how are you doing that?
I do use a lot of gels. It doesn't help that I have nut allergy, so that does narrow some other food options down for me. I use gels. I use a lot of Coca-Cola. I don't drink it any other time in my life, but that stuff is magical. I remember a woman I done a race with many years ago. She's like, Sanna, just have some cola. I promise you it'll make you feel better. I said, okay. And I did. I'm like, oh my God, this stuff is magical. I know why you shouldn't give it to kids. And then I have like Boost bars. I had a lot of like watermelon and oranges, although they're not a huge amount in calories, because they're easy to eat. They keep your stomach active, and you need to keep the blood in your stomach and keep it active so that you can keep eating. And then I had chicken and sweet corn sandwiches, which I like made up, and white bread that I like. I had some yogurt as well. I don't normally have yogurt in like 100-miler, but it was quite nice in the heat. Like my dad's got this huge cooler box because he does fishing, and he kept it all cool. But yeah, it was very simple. So I had my gels. I used some Ham Nutrition Heed. That was what was in my electrolytes, and then electrolyte tablets to stop cramping, and then just gels, sandwiches, watermelon, orange, and Boost bars. That was all I'd ate, and like the odd yogurt. People had bought some other bits for me. Oh, and I made myself pick a mixes. I went to like the local like Buckers we have here, like a Costco, and bought like 4 big tubs and put them in little bags, and I had some of them, but I ate a lot of them after, and so did my niece. But it was very simple. But it's again sticking with what you know. I didn't want to upset my stomach, and because I was moving quite quick most of the time, that I didn't have time to really try and change things up. My stomach knew what it was doing with those foods, so I stuck to it.
I can definitely relate to the Coke thing. Coke, never touch it, but during a race, it can resurrect you.
It's amazing. So I had like I carried a 300 ml bottle, and I just kept that one slowly for the cola because it takes a can perfectly. It then defizzes it. Like my pacer carried it for me, and then they would just pass it to me. I was like, Kirk probably looked a bit dodgy going through some other towns, but it was just, I think I drank like, I think it was like 12 cans,
Yeah.
which I suppose in 48 hours isn't that much.
So, I mean, especially when it's hot, it can be really nice. I remember I did this mountain ultra in Portugal, and it was so hot that like I could see the blisters on my shoulder from the heat bubbling a little bit. Got to this little garage at the bottom of this 8 kilometer vertical cave. Right, so I don't know
My,
why it's vertical cave because that's singular. Big bottle of Coke, everything was fine after that.
yeah.
Um, but obviously, your nutrition, you seem to have that pretty locked in. Inevitably within races, you're going to have moments where things potentially aren't going too well. What advice would you give to other people to get through that? Because a lot of times with ultras, if you can keep on top of your nutrition and not get injured, you're pretty much smooth sailing. So what would your advice be to other people?
So what I do, and obviously in a race, you know where your checkpoints are. You have that information to hand. So you need to like slow down going into the checkpoint, get your food that you want, and then walk out eating it. That way your stomach is more likely to take. And if you need to walk an extra 5 minutes after, keep moving so that food comes in and your stomach can digest it. And the reason why it's important to slow down going in is it brings the blood out of like your legs, so they've been working, and it comes, it regulates more, your blood pressure drops. So you're more likely to be ready to eat. So that's what I've learned to do, is like not stop, slow down, get what you want slowly out, then you can eat and then you can move quicker. Whereas if you don't do that, you're going to stop. So you're better off just slowing it down, taking on that food and those calories than throwing up or like not moving because you've not taken that food in. I also carry on quite a lot of my own foods that I know work for me. I do have stuff for my nutrition, mainly cola, watermelon, and orange. But I make sure I have my gels that I know work for me, or my gel, like some chew things that you get running food wise. And having calories in my water really helps as well. I say a lot to, whether that's Tailwind or He that I use. That really makes a difference. And a few people I've been out on long days with, I'm like, have you got calories in your water? And they're like, no. I'm like, you really should, more than just like put electrolyte tablet in it as well, but have calories in your water, because then you're constantly taking on, there's no big crash. You're always going to sip your water, aren't you? So have calories in it. That was something I think that changed a lot for me from like say maybe 2018 to now, was having calories in my water made such a difference.
That's amazing advice, especially the calories in the water. Do you think that has helped what you could call your pro career?
Yeah, I think like it has helped. I'm not really sure I'm a pro, but just sticking to what I know with food is something that's really helped me. I've touched wood. Sometimes I feel a bit sick. But a lot of that is anxiety actually brought on from, because I get quite anxious for racing. But once I calm down after that first 3 hours, I'm a lot better, and that passes. But I do take my electrolytes, and I do use cola, because cola's got anti-sickness in it as well as the energy, so that helps me feel better. But I just listen to myself. But yeah, I've made mistakes, and then what I've done is, once I found the products that work for me, I've not tried anything else. I've literally just stuck to them because it works. Why do I need to change it?
Would you say that the racing you do and potentially the accomplishments you get from that give you a newfound sense of reassurance going forward that translate outside of running? Because you say you're very shy, but some of the things you've done, you're putting yourself out there and you're inspiring other people. So how is that sort of potentially benefiting you outside of running?
I never thought I would have done what I've done now. I mean, I didn't pass my driving test till I was 30. I had no confidence to do it. And it's because of running that I did that. So I could run further afield and to have more opportunities with it. But just through running, I haven't always been successful. I failed, rebuilt, learnt from it, and then got better. You can do that in life. So I did my driving test. It was tough. I failed, but I didn't give up. I just did what I needed to do and passed. And it's the same in other things in life, yeah, it's going to be tough, but sometimes you have to do it, make the mistake and learn from it. As long as you're not hurting anyone during it, then just try, you know. But it can be scary to try new things. But I never thought I'd go course curve goch or or you know break records, never mind my own records. But you don't know unless you try, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But at least try and you kind of know where you're at or whether you liked it or not. Like I've tried backyard ultras. I don't like them. I've tried numerous of them. They're just not for me. So I'm not going to do it anymore, you know, but you don't know unless you try, you know, put me on the coast path. I'm happy as anything. So you just got to find what you like. But sometimes you do have to do stuff that you don't like to figure out what you do like or to see what you need to work on.
That's incredible advice for anyone who's just even getting into running or even just like starting running or going into ultra running. That is amazing advice. So thank you for that. He asked 3 questions to all of our guests. The first question is, who inspired you?
So that would be my dad. Like I said, he's had some illnesses, but you know, he's always been there. He's never, you know, he might hurt, but he's always got on with life. And I kind of think of that. Sometimes it hurts when you're running or when you're going on these big events, but you just got to keep showing up and you got to be there with that smile on your face. I mean, there's lots of amazing runners out there, but we're all doing our own thing. But my dad is probably my biggest hero and inspiration.
Wow. Our second question is, if your younger self could see you now, what would they say?
They probably wouldn't recognise me. I think they would be, little Sanna be very proud of, not so little Sanna. And give her a big hug.
The final question we have for you, Sanna, is a message for anyone who's listening.
Just go out there and try and do it. If you want it, go and do it with a smile. It'll be worth it. And run and go and venture somewhere beautiful. That will definitely make those miles tick over quicker.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been an amazing chat. A lot of people who are listening to this are going to benefit from listening to your story and how you've overcome these challenges. The advice you have to give is very good. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to share.
Thank you.